Good evening, Daf Kuf Dalet Amud Aleph. A few lines past the two dots, around like a third of the way down. Tanan. Sorry, halfway down. Second word is Tanan. Tanan. Lo yitin lo l'bno lo shulcha. We're asking a question against Rav Hizdah. Hizdah had just mentioned that you have to make a shliach in order to collect the debt. You have to make shliach in front of Aidim. You can't give the item that you stole to the victim's son nor his shliach. What's the case of the shliach? If you did not have edim, then I didn't. I know you made a good shliach. And yet, it must be that you did have edim, and yet we still say that it is not considered a good shliach, and therefore, question against Rav Hizdah, who says that you need to a good shliach is if you make in front of edim. Question against Rav Hizdah. Tilgmar of Hizda b'schilul kitor. Chizak gave some mentions he gave before that case is referring to a case where it works. Is a case referring to where you use like your chauffeur, which the guy already you people pre-accepted that you're not using a random shliach, and therefore since you're using someone who you usually deal with, like your chauffeur, your driver, therefore it's okay. Where he says okay, fine, but let's say you made a regular shliach with edim. What's the would that be working as a shliach? If the guy who stole gave it to the shliach, it's considered already returned right away. But then the second part of the Bible says that if you give it to the shliach bedin, they should make machloket based off the actual factor that makes sense. When does it work? By giving a shliach. Sorry, when does it not work? When you made a shliach without edim. If you did make a shliach in front of edim, it is a good shliach. But the Mishnah didn't mention talking about that. It mentioned about making it in front of Bedin. Nothing to do with the witnesses. The Gemara says, he didn't make a psak on it. The Gemara explains what it means. Shliach Bedin, regarding to Shliach Bedin, lo shna asau nigzav, lo shna asau gazal hashliach. It doesn't make a difference who made this Shliach Bedin. Shliach Bedin is works both ways, whether the victim or the robber made it. Psikla, in that case, it does work. Shliach shasau bedin, but regarding Shliach that's made in front of witnesses, if the victim made it, definitely works. Asau gazan lo have Shliach lo psikla, but in regarding to it, the gazan made it, doesn't work as a Shliach. The Tana did not make a psak on that, whether it doesn't work. Well, Afuki had Tana excludes the following Tana. The Brita says the Bishimon Blazar Mer. Shliach bedin shasau nigzav lo asan gazan. The Shliach bedin that was made by the victim, but not by the robber. Or the opposite, the shliach received payment was made by the robber, but not, and the victim sent his own shliach. Patur, the robber is patur from repaying it. So we see that shliach bedin is not as powerful as we said, and therefore that braita is against this braita. Okay, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar, the Metra, Rabbi Yochanan are both said shliach shazal beidim have shliach. Shliach in front of beidim is good. Then tomorrow, but you want to bring a proof from our Mishnah that's not true. I'll answer you that the Mishnah in our case where it doesn't work is where you made the shliach, where the victim made it. The guy sent the message. Oh, you stole my item. You want to pay me back? Okay, I have this guy. He'll collect it for me. He tells the shliach, the victim, this guy owes me money and he's not giving it to me. It has you like go in front of him and try to get it. Maybe the victim is trying to return it to me, but he can't find anybody to bring it. In Amir, or the Kitor is referring to the case where you have the employee, like the chauffeur. Okay. You cannot send back money. You say someone asked you to watch something, and now someone's come and pick it up for him. The guy's showing him the logo or the seal that the guy has. He's like, oh, you see, the guy sent it to me. Sent me to pick it up for him. You should not give it to him. Even if witnesses signed on it. Rabbi Yochanan says, if witnesses signed on it, it's good. So the Gemara says, Amar, Shmuel might can say, what? According to Shmuel, if you can't use witnesses, you can't use the special seal. How are you returning things through shliach? One time Rabbi Abba lent money to Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama. I remember Rav Safra, he went to Rav Safra, who was going to Rav Yosef Bar Chama's area, and he said, when you go there, bring me the money back. When Rav Safra went there and asked for the money, Rav Yosef Bar Chama's son, Rava, told him, did you get a receipt? Meaning, if you're picking up the money, you should have a paper from the lender that that's something that you got paid back, and you give me that, and I'll give you the money. I'm really low. He says, no, I didn't get it. Sorry. In fact, if that's the case, go back to Rabbi Abba, get the receipt, and then I'll give you the money. So then he's like, 1 second. He told him, Rabbi told him, still, even if you had a receipt, it doesn't count. Maybe by the time you came back here, Rabbi Abba will have passed away because he was very, very old at the time. And therefore, since there's a concern that he actually died, money will go to his orphans, and therefore, his receipt doesn't mean anything. So that's the case. How do I get the money back for Biaba? He says, do a kinyan agav. We've had this before in Masechet Kiddushin. You're able to be makneh somebody something through a tiny piece of land. You take an inch of land, you tell them, okay, through this land that I'm giving you or buying from you or selling to you, you will acquire this money that's owed, this money over there, that guy owes me money, you'll be acquiring that. So agav, through something else, you're acquiring that. He told me, go to the Abba, acquire the loan, and we'll give you the money when you come. Personally, Papa had a loan of 12,000 zuzim against somebody in a certain town of Hosai. He transferred the loan to Rabbi Shmuel bar Abba through the tiny piece of land in front of his house. And therefore, Rabbi Shmuel bar Abba will be a shliach to get it. When he came back, get the money. Rabbi Papa was so happy that he went to meet him in Tavach, which is on the way. Okay, I thought the Keren. Mishnah said that if the robber paid back the victim the money, but did not pay the extra 20%, he doesn't have to chase him. So a lot of times we talk about the chomesh, 20% fee. I said fee, but is that considered mammon, or is that just a mitzvah to give? What's the difference? If it's a knas that the guy now owes, then I could sue him in court if I don't get paid. I could force Betin to make a payment. If it's just a mitzvah for him to get kapara, then it's up to him if he wants to pay it, and I can't force him. So the Gemara says, our Mishnah, the fact that you don't have to chase after him for the fifth means that Alam Hamish Mamano. We see that the Hamish 20% fee is actual money. And therefore, if the guy were to die, the inheritors must pay it. Also, we see from our Mishnah. If he swore falsely and he paid the guy the principal but did not pay the fifth, and then he swore falsely about the fifth as well, you can add another fifth on top of the fifth. Therefore, we see from the fact that you can add a fifth on top of the fifth if he swore falsely, we see that it's considered a monetary obligation and not just a mitzvah. Another Braita says as well. If someone robs his friend and he swears falsely about the robbery and then he ends up admitting to it, then he dies. His inheritors can pay the main money and the 20%, but they don't have to be in the korban. But can the Yorshin actually pay the 20%? I can still say that Berta's middle of a conversation. I can still say, when does the son not pay the 20% by his father's stealing? It's only when not him or his father swore falsely about the robbery, where he swore falsely and his father did not swear falsely, or his father swore falsely and he did not swear falsely, or when they both swore falsely. Minayin, how do we know that you never paid for the 20%? Asher Gazal Asher Ashar. Pasuk says that he has to return the item that you stole, that he robbed, and that he took the wrong way, which shows that it only goes in the person who stole, not the kid. And the kid did not do that. So we see that the Yorshin is not Chaya. That doesn't make sense. The Gemara says, in the first Braita where the guy, it was referring to the case where the guy was admitted while he's still alive. In that case, he's already Chayav, therefore his kids can pay it. The then in the second case where he patur because the guy never admitted it, therefore the kids were never Chayav. ELIYAHU, if he didn't confess to it, so why was he paying the principal as well? Maybe you should say maybe he's not paying anything at all. From the fact that we see that the Tanakh says that you have to pay the 20% that you patur, the memra that the Kenu Shalim. Right? And the fact that you said, oh, you're patur from 20%, that sounds like you are chayav for the principle, the thing that you actually stole. So you can't, don't tell me he's patur from everything. But if you didn't admit, then why would it be chayav? But also, another brother says, from what we said before, that the guy said, when does the son pay the principal for his father? It's when he and his father swore falsely. Aviv v'lohu, his father swore falsely, but he did not. Hu v'lo aviv, he and not his father. Hu lahu v'lo aviv, not him, not his father. Nine, how do you know that the son pays the principal for the father's stealing? Tell me where the mark gezelave oshek aveda pekulim. The pasuk says 4 different words: the robbed item, the stolen item, the lost item, and the deposit. The oshek doesn't mean stolen. It means like the thing that was taken the wrong way, illegally. The yesh talmud. Then he says the word yesh talmud. So now Be'etzir is going to come out of the Hakam when Rahuna was repeating it. Amar le Rabba Bre, his son Rabba told him, Yesh Talmud Kamar more. Was he saying Yesh Talmud, which means something to be learned from it? Or Yesh Talmud Kamar more? Was he saying they are to be paid? Yani you have to pay. So meaning, are you saying that you could learn from the Pasuk, or you're saying you should pay because of the Pasuk? Big difference. Yesh Talmud sounds like you could learn from the Pasuk that you're patur. Yesh Talmud means you should pay. Amar le Ravuna said, Yesh Talmud, Kamina. You could learn from the pasuk to teach you that son is chayav to pay in all the cases, no matter who swore. And I learned it from the pasukim that the son has to pay the principal, but you are patur from the 20%. So if there's no admission, why would you pay the principal to begin with? Questions back on. Gemara says, that doesn't mean he didn't confess. The father didn't confess, but the son confessed. So the Gemara says, so then if the son swore falsely and he just admitted to the thing, he should pay the 20%. It's referring to the case where the item does not exist anymore. The Gemara says, I feel if it doesn't exist anymore, then he shouldn't pay anything. Not even the 100%. The original 100%, the principal. Now it's referring to a case where there is a physical property, a lien property on it, and you can pay from there. If that's the case, that it's real property from the father's property that got passed down, and the actual item is not there, that's considered like a loan, oral loan, not written down. And we all know oral loan. You cannot collect from the Yorshin or lien properties. So why would he have to pay the principal? We say, it's referring to the case where the father already was found chayav in din, in bet din, he had to pay it. Whereas if that's the case, he was chayav in bet din, he should pay 20%, not only the 100%. He should pay the fee as well. So why would he be put only the principal? Why would the son only pay the principal, not the chomesh? And not why would the son only pay the principal and patur from the chomesh? He should pay chayav and everything. The reason is because you do not pay the 20% from denial of lien land that has a lien on it. You don't pay the fee from that. Okay. Rabbi Marvaz is a different answer. How come asking what's the case? Father stole the item, put it in his pouch, and someone else had the pouch at the time. Keren Mishan needs to pay the principal back because he has to return the item back because he has it now. But he does not pay the 20%. There's no 20% fee over here because when he swore truthfully that he did not know the item existed. He didn't know that he had it. Only when he received his father's pouch, he's like, oh, my father did steal it. But he didn't swear falsely on purpose. Okay. Mishnah says that if someone stole something and it was less than a shevet pruta, you don't have to chase after the guy to return it. The only time you don't have to chase after him is when the item is not there anymore. If the item is there, even if it's less than a shevet pruta, to return it even far away. Because maybe the item value is going to go up and it's going to become a piruta, and then you be chayav to chase after him. Igdam, a different version. It doesn't make a difference whether it's there or not. You never chase after it. We're not worried with it that it'll go up in price. So 3 bundles of wheat that were valued at 3 pirutot, only one each. Then those three ended up decreasing in price and valued as two. If you gave back two bundles, he's going to have to pay the third one as well, even though it's not worth a shavar pruta, but rather because it's part of the stolen item. B'tanatu, now we have another proof. Gazal hametz b'aval pesach stole hametz and pesach passed. Omer lo haresh l'chal he can give it back to him as is, even though it's asur. The only reason why it's able to return back the worthless hametz now is because it's there. If it's not there, even though that item is not worth anything, hametz shel pesach. Since originally it was worth money when he did steal it, so he'd have to pay back. So to Hachanami, even though now the third bundle is not worth the pruta, since it originally was worth it, he should pay back as well. Okay. Go ahead, I've asked a question. He stole two bundles that were half a pruta each, together they're worth one pruta. And he returned one of them. Mahu, what's the deal? Two ways to look at it. And do we say maybe now there's no such thing as a robbed item? Since it's a pruta, he gave back half of it. Therefore, the second half is not considered something as stolen, right? It's not something that you could sue somebody over. Therefore, you don't have to return it. In the end, you didn't return this thing that you stole. Therefore, you should have to give it back. After he asked it, he answered himself, there's no robbed item here, there's no return here. So the Gemara says, make it in mind. If there's nothing robbed, there is a return. Meaning, if make up in mind, either you have to return it or you don't have to return it. If there's something stolen, you have to return it. If something's not stolen, you don't have to return it. The word explains as follows. Even though nothing was robbed here, there's still no mitzvah to return the robbed item. Meaning, since there's no valuable item, and therefore you can't technically be chased in court after it, you can't sue him for it. But since there's no return, since he did not return the Shevet Pruta, both of them, therefore he didn't return the stolen items. So even though the item is not worth a Pruta anymore, he has to return both in order to be Mekayem the mitzvah of returning the stolen item. We'll stop here. Amen.